Heartwarming moment. Single mom discovers CEO's life-changing gift to help with 50 quarters. Sarah knelt on the attic floor, surrounded by a sea of forgotten memories, inhaling the musty scent of old wood and dust. Each box held echoes from a time when laughter filled her home. As she rifled through a dusty container, her fingers brushed against a worn-out envelope. Curiosity ignited, she opened it to find 50 shiny quarters, glistening in the dim light, accompanied by a note signed by Eleanor, the one celebrated CEO who had soared beyond the confines of their small town. For the dreams that need a little push, it read, sending a warmth radiating through Sarah's chest. In that moment, hope whispered in her ear, promising a chance for her and her spirited 8-year-old daughter, Mia. But amid her joy, a familiar weight settled in her heart. Sarah worked harder than anyone she knew, dashing between serving tables at the bustling diner and cleaning homes for local families, but the burdens of financial struggle hung like a stubborn cloud. The quarters shimmered like promises in the dark, yet whispers of doubt crept in. The townsfolk, who often overlooked her because of her jobs, knew her as just another face in the crowd. Did she deserve this chance? Every evening, Sarah watched Mia draw vibrant pictures, her eyes lit with dreams of adventure. "Mommy, can we get a dog?" Mia's hopeful voice delighted and pierced Sarah's heart all at once. Was she giving Mia enough? The gift from Eleanor ignited something more, a glimmer of opportunity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Inspired, Sarah eagerly learned of the scholarships Eleanor intended to fund for underprivileged children from their community. The idea that not just Mia, but many kids could chase their dreams filled her with courage. She had to apply. But as whispers of skepticism filled the town, anxieties crept back in. Many of her neighbors, seeing her as the struggling waitress and cleaner, raised eyebrows at her aspirations. Could she really be worthy of such a chance? Mustered by desperation, Sarah decided to confront Eleanor. Their meeting, steeped in unresolved pasts, unfolded with raw honesty. "I just want a better life for Mia," Sarah confessed, tears brimming. Eleanor listened, a softness spreading across her face, revealing a mutual understanding of dreams lost to harsh realities. In that exchange, walls crumbled, and each woman's history intertwined, two paths shaped by resilience yet colored by circumstance. Yet, just when it seemed hope might prevail, the town buzzed with uncertainty. Supporters rallied behind Sarah, while others clung tightly to their biases, creating a divide that rattled their community's foundation. Sarah was about to become the face of change, a beacon of resilience, or a casualty of societal division. As the tension thickened and hearts raced, Sarah faced a pivotal choice. Would she rise above as a unifying force, or would the fear of not belonging stifle her dreams? With the stakes so high, the question lingered in the air: could she find the strength to move mountains for Mia, and possibly, for the future of their town? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows through the attic window as Sarah carefully tucked the envelope back into her pocket. The weight of the quarters felt heavier than before, each one a small symbol of hope and possibility. She took a deep breath and steadied herself. This was no ordinary moment, it was a juncture, a crossroads that could redefine her life and Mia's. The following day, Sarah woke up with renewed determination. She joined the line of parents dropping their kids off at school, and for once, she felt a flicker of belonging. As they exchanged pleasantries, she smiled and engaged, hoping to solidify her place within the community. Gritting her teeth against the doubts lingering in her mind, she prepared to confront the town head-on. At the diner later that day, whispers of the scholarship opportunity circulated among the regulars. Those voices ranged from supportive to begrudging, but Sarah chose to focus on the few who encouraged her. "You go for it, Sarah. You deserve it," a young waitress named Lisa chimed in, her voice breaking through the thick air of doubt. Warmth spread through Sarah at Lisa's words. Maybe she didn't have to shoulder this burden alone. Perhaps it was time to lean into the strength of those who believed in the possibility of change. After her shift, with Mia safely tucked into bed, Sarah set to work. She drafted her application, pouring her heart and dreams onto the pages. For every word that flowed, she visualized the life she wanted to create for Mia, a life where they could walk among families, where laughter echoed through their home, and dreams weren't just dreams but potential made real. Weeks crawled by, the town's skepticism rising like a tide as news about her application spread. Sarah felt it in the stares, and the whispered conversations that turned quiet the moment she entered a room. It stung, but she pressed on. Every night, she encouraged Mia's creativity to bloom. "Draw whatever you want, sweetie," she would say, watching in awe as Mia splashed colors across paper. Unbeknownst to Mia, each stroke was a reminder of why this fight mattered. "Mommy, can we really get a dog one day?" Mia's eyes sparkled with innocence. It struck Sarah like a lightning bolt. This wasn't just about her and Eleanor. It was for Mia, for every child in town who deserved to dream big. As the submission deadline approached, Sarah learned that Eleanor would be visiting the local school to host an event for the children. Fears mingled with excitement at the thought of facing Eleanor once more. Would she still see her as a hopeful mother, or would the weight of the town's judgment overshadow the bond they formed? Tension knitted tightly in Sarah's chest as the day arrived. She arrived early, fighting ragged nerves. Students milled about, laughter filling the air as Eleanor's presence loomed like a shining light. Just as she was about to step forward, a strong voice called out, "Sarah! Come here." It was Lisa, waving her over, excitement blooming in her expression. "What is it?" Sarah asked, her heart racing. "There's something happening. You need to see this." With every hurried step towards the gathering crowd, Sarah's heart pounded. She reached a clearing just in time to hear the announcement, "We're starting a community fund for scholarships, and we're looking for someone to lead the initiative." Stunned silence swept over the group. Could this be the moment Sarah's dreams collided with reality, not just for Mia, but for every child in their town? Sarah was about to step up, but would her voice be heard? Would she have the courage to lead them? Or would doubt hold her back? Sarah felt the pulse of the crowd around her, a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and a hint of hope. She searched for a sign, anything that would guide her. Lisa's bright smile anchored her in place, a reminder that there were those willing to support her. But as her mind raced, a flood of doubt churned within. The air crackled with possibilities. "Am I ready for this?" she whispered to herself. The thought of leading the initiative was both thrilling and terrifying. She envisioned herself standing at the helm of something bigger than she had ever imagined, yet the fear of failure loomed large. Taking a deep breath, she focused on Mia's laughter, the innocent joy captured in her drawings. That was the fuel she needed. "This isn't just about me," she thought, envisioning all the kids who might benefit, all the Mias out there dreaming of bigger futures. Sarah's heart began to race for an entirely different reason. She stepped forward. "Excuse me." Her voice rang out, trembling yet determined. The crowd turned, eyes fixed on her. "I'd like to lead this initiative." A collective gasp rippled through the group. She met Eleanor's gaze, seeking something approval, maybe, or understanding. Eleanor's expression was hard to read, but Sarah saw a flicker of hope shine through. "That's wonderful," Eleanor said, stepping forward with a supportive smile. "We will need someone who believes in our kids, and we can do great things together." The warmth in Eleanor's voice washed over Sarah like a wave, lifting her spirits. But doubt didn't completely vanish. Could she really pull this off? The weight of expectations pressed down on her. With a newfound sense of purpose, Sarah began brainstorming ideas, drawing out plans while the crowd interacted and buzzed with growing excitement. The conversation shifted among the parents. Familiar faces came up to her, offering their support, and it felt invigorating. Sarah realized she was not alone in this. Together they could make change happen. Each suggestion felt right, building on the excitement that coursed through the group like electricity. They discussed bake sales, community events, and even car washes, their laughter mingling with their ideas, filling the air with optimism. But even amid this newfound unity, Sarah couldn't fully shake the shadows of her insecurities. Would her voice still matter when the moment came to put the fund into action? She caught a glimpse of Lisa, cheering, and her confidence swelled. This wasn't just about scholarships. It was about transforming their community. The idea of standing in front of the school board, presenting their plans, loomed like another mountain to climb. But Sarah felt warm hands clasp her shoulders. They were there for her, every one of them. "You can do this," Lisa assured her, squeezing tightly. A surge of gratitude blossomed within her. Together, she realized, we can make a difference. She felt like a piece of a puzzle finally fitting into place. As she left the event, ideas swirling in her mind, she vowed to harness every bit of support she could. But back at home, as she tucked Mia into bed, doubt crept in again. What if they didn't believe in her? What if they didn't see her as a leader? Her heart weighed heavy once more. "Mommy?" Mia's sleepy voice brought her back. "Can we really do it? Can we really make everything better?" Sarah hesitated, the truth hanging on her lips. She brushed Mia's hair back, her heart swelling with love and fear. Would they truly be able to change things together? "Absolutely, sweetie," Sarah said, her voice steady now. "We will do our best." But as she turned off the lamp, a dreadful thought struck her. This new journey could unearth even deeper challenges. What would they face next? The answer lay just ahead, waiting for the courage she was beginning to find. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Sarah's window, warming her face. She rose early, filled with a sense of determination. Today was not just another day, it was the beginning of something special. She brewed coffee with a steady hand, savoring the steam as it curled upward. It felt like a promise, a slight nudge from the universe urging her forward. After getting Mia ready for school, Sarah grabbed a notebook filled with her scattered ideas. Each page was crammed with brainstorms, half-formed thoughts, and a few hopeful doodles that resembled possibilities. As she walked Mia to the bus stop, she could feel nerves fluttering in her stomach. But every time she reminded herself of the faces in the crowd from the previous night, that assurance came rushing back. She wasn't alone. Back home, she pulled up a chair at the kitchen table, ready to organize her ideas. Sarah envisioned the community that could blossom if everyone worked together. She scribbled down plans for family movie nights, local talent shows, and workshops that could teach the children essential skills. "We can do this," she muttered, her resolve growing stronger with each word. Mid-morning, Sarah made her way to the community center, where a meeting was planned with the other parents. The center was abuzz with activity, kids playing and parents chatting. Even the atmosphere hummed with excitement. As she entered the room, waves of familiar faces greeted her. Eleanor was already there, chatting with a small group of parents. Sarah nestled into the circle, greeted with smiles and nodded heads. "I've got some ideas," she blurted out, her voice charged with enthusiasm. Supportive murmurs filled the air as Sarah detailed her plans. Every idea was met with smiles and eager nods. But just as she felt the momentum building, a sharp voice echoed from the back of the room. "But how will we fund this, Sarah? We can't just run by good intentions." Mark, a skeptical father with a furrowed brow, crossed his arms. His doubt hung heavy in the air, threatening to dim the growing spark. "I understand," Sarah replied, her heart pounding. "But we can start small, maybe even with our own donations. We can host events and seek local sponsorships. Every little bit counts." But deep down, her own nerves twinged. Would the community step up? Or would she face more challenges than she anticipated? Another parent, Jen, piped up, "I love your spirit. My cousin works for a local bank. Maybe he could help us get a small grant?" Hope flickered within Sarah again. It was a tiny light, but it was enough to guide her forward. As they strategized, she felt more and more at home. The initial skepticism began to taper off as other parents started brainstorming fundraisers too. Laughter intermingled with serious discussions, making the room feel alive with possibilities. As the meeting wrapped up, Sarah sensed the energy shift dramatically. People were genuinely excited and committed. A wave of relief washed over her. Maybe this could work after all. But then, as she walked home, her heart sank into uncertainty once again. What if the excitement faded by next week? What if they couldn't keep the momentum going? That evening, as Mia colored at the kitchen table, Sarah already felt the pressure of expectations mounting. She glanced at her little girl, deeply focused on her artwork. What if I can't be the leader they need? She thought, chewing on her lower lip. Mia looked up and smiled brightly. Mommy, can I be part of your team? Her innocent question sparked something deep within Sarah. Could Mia's enthusiasm be the encouragement she needed when things got tough? Of course, sweet pea, Sarah said, a smile blooming. You can help me out. But just as she basked in this moment of joy, her phone buzzed with an email that cut through the bliss. There was an unexpected message from Eleanor with a subject line that read, "Urgent, we need to talk." What now? Sarah whispered to herself, her stomach tightening as a new wave of dread took hold of her. What challenges lay ahead that she hadn't foreseen? As she stared at the screen, she realized that her journey was only beginning, and the real test was yet to come. With her heart pounding in her chest, Sarah hesitated, contemplating whether to open the email. What could it possibly reveal? Sarah's thumb hovered over the screen, the bright glow of the message almost taunting her. She took a deep breath, steeling herself. It's just an email, she whispered, trying to convince herself. But the word urgent echoed in her mind like a drumbeat, growing louder with each passing second. Finally, she tapped the screen. The words spilled out in neatly organized paragraphs, but the disjointed phrases danced in front of her eyes, twisting her stomach into knots. We've run into some issues with local sponsorships, Eleanor had written. Not sure how we'll manage our initial fundraising. Sarah's heart sank. Just when things felt like they were taking off, reality hit hard. How could they build a community with no funds? The idea of failing was a sinking stone in her chest, pulling her into despair. As she read further, the email hinted at a rift forming among the organizers. Some parents feel this might not be worth their time. We might lose the interest. We gained. A wave of anger washed over Sarah. It felt so unfair. They were on the cusp of something beautiful, yet every leap toward success seemed shadowed by doubt. She set the phone down and rubbed her temples, a growing ache of frustration blooming. Mia's cheerful voice broke her concentration. Mommy. Look. She held up her drawing, a bright, swirling masterpiece of colors. I made our team with rainbows. We're gonna win everything. Tears pricked at the corners of Sarah's eyes. In Mia's world, there were no barriers, just limitless possibilities. That's amazing, honey. We'll win with our team. Sarah echoed, embracing her daughter's innocence. But as the night wore on, self-doubt plunged deeper. The weight of expectations grew heavier. She couldn't let Mia down. She couldn't let the community down. What if this spark extinguished before it even had a chance to flare? After tucking Mia into bed, Sarah paced the kitchen, her mind racing. She opened the community center's Facebook page, where she posted about their first meeting. Scanning through the supportive comments rekindled a flicker of hope. Perhaps there were people out there who believed in this dream just as fiercely as she did. Feeling the resolve building within her, Sarah drafted a post about their challenges, inviting everyone to share their ideas. Maybe they weren't just her ideas, but a beacon for the whole community. She hit send, heart racing, as if casting a fishing line into uncertain waters. But the uncertainty still loomed, hanging thick in the air. As she lay in bed, surrounded by the quiet sounds of nighttime, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Eleanor. I think we need a bigger meeting, share our concerns openly. Let us gather this weekend. Sarah's mind raced at the thought of facing what they had to discuss. Would it make things worse? Or would it rally support? The excitement from earlier swelled in her chest again, combined with an undercurrent of dread. What if they all agreed to drop the project? In the dark, she wrestled with her fears, doing her best to push them away. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was brewing just beneath the surface, like storms before the rain. When the morning sun peeked through the curtains again, it brought with it the urgency to act. A community meeting could change everything. She hadn't just got into this for herself, it was larger than that. I have to believe, Sarah thought, determination sparking inside her as she grabbed her notebook once more. There had to be a way through this. As she pored over her plans, a new idea arced through her thoughts, bubbling with optimism. But would her newfound vision be enough to rally everyone together? With a sense of purpose, Sarah scribbled down notes, excited at the challenge ahead. Yet, the nagging question lingered, how would she unite everyone when there were doubts so deeply rooted? What awaited her in that upcoming meeting was beyond her imagination. Would the community stand with her, or would the dream start to dissolve into whispering winds? The journey had only just begun. The weekend arrived, and the air buzzed with an electric mix of anticipation and anxiety. Sarah stood in front of the community center, clutching her notebook like a lifeline. She took a moment to gather herself, breathing in the crisp morning air. It felt like a turning point, yet the stakes couldn't feel higher. As she stepped inside, she was greeted by familiar faces, some eager, others uncertain. Parents gathered in small clusters, chatting quietly, their expressions a blend of hope and skepticism. Would Sarah's persuasive words be enough to lift their spirits? She hoped it would be. Hey! There's Sarah. Mia's high-pitched voice cut through the murmur, and Sarah turned to see her daughter waving frantically, a handmade sign dangling from her small hands. Mommy, I brought our special cheer. A smile burst across Sarah's face, momentarily distracting her from the weight of her worries. The child's enthusiasm was contagious. Mia ran over and slipped her tiny hand into Sarah's, anchoring her amidst the swirling uncertainty. All right, everybody. Let's get started, Sarah called out, her voice stronger than she felt. She stood at the front, glancing at her notes. But the words eluded her. Instead, she melted into the moment, speaking from her heart. I know we're facing tough challenges, she began. Sponsorships, declining interest. It all sounds disheartening. But think of our kids. They dream of a vibrant community, a safe place to grow, learn, and share. They deserve that. Murmurs of agreement spread through the room. People nodded, sharing glances and small smiles. Sarah's heart raced as she pressed on, fueled by their energy. This is bigger than any one of us. It takes all of us, together, to make a change. One father in the back stood up, crossing his arms. But how do we get past these sponsorship issues? We can't just wish for them. I hear you, she said, meeting his gaze. But what if we brainstorm together? Everyone here has a skill, a connection. We could host a fundraising event or reach out to local businesses. Let us tap into our strengths. As Sarah spoke, she tuned into the room's pulse. Small ideas started to swirl, bouncing off each other like fireflies. A bake sale was suggested. A talent show for kids. Someone even proposed a community car wash. Each new suggestion brightened the atmosphere, weaving a tapestry of possibilities. Suddenly, Mia's voice rang out again. Can I be in the talent show? The room laughed, and Sarah's heart swelled. Of course, sweetie. Everyone can shine in their own way, Sarah smiled, the warmth of her words reflecting the hopes blossoming around her. But then the dense cloud of worry rolled back in, just as quickly. What if this was just a temporary spark? What if, inevitably, doubt crept back in? In that moment, Eleanor stood up, capturing everyone's attention. Sarah, you've given us a lot to think about. But remember, we're all in this together. We need to commit. A hush fell over the crowd. Would they stand united, or scatter in fear of the unknown? With bated breath, Sarah scanned the room. Eyes locked on hers, faces painted with determination. One by one, parents began nodding, affirmations echoing in the air. The flicker of hope turned into a flame. "We're not walking away," another mother chimed in. "We're putting in the work because this is worth it." A round of applause erupted, and Sarah felt the joy wash over her, filling her chest until it overflowed. But in the back of her mind, the whispered worries persisted. Was this just the calm before a storm? As plans solidified and the crowd energy pulsed with potential, Sarah still felt the tight knot of anxiety. She wasn't sure what the next steps would be, or whether the envisioned future could withstand reality's harsh grip. The meeting wrapped up with excitement, but a lingering question burned in Sarah's heart. Would their newfound resolve be enough when the challenges returned, more formidable than before? As everyone filed out, she turned to Mia, who was happily chattering about her plans. But in Sarah's mind, another challenge loomed just around the corner, waiting to be faced. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows within the community center. Would their newfound spirit be tested soon? And what decision would Sarah need to make when that moment arrived? The next few days felt like a roller coaster for Sarah. She pored over notes from the meeting, scribbled down new ideas, and connected with the parents who had stood up in support. The energy in the community was palpable, and it ignited a small fire within her. But doubt still simmered beneath the surface. As the week progressed, Sarah found herself juggling work, Mia's school activities, and community planning. Her coffee intake surged, and many nights, she worked late at the kitchen table, illuminated only by a single lamp. The rhythm of her life had shifted, yet the same question gnawed at her: would it be enough? Mia had become her little cheerleader. "Mommy, can I wear my sparkly dress for the talent show?" she asked one evening, spinning in circles in the living room to show off her latest outfit. Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with affection. "Absolutely. You're going to shine like a star." Yet, when the doorbell rang that Friday evening, uncertainty flooded her. Standing on her doorstep was Eleanor, the spirited mother with a heart full of ideas. A big grin stretched across her face, and she carried a folder of proposals. "Hey! I thought we could work on the fundraising details together." She beamed, stepping into the dim light of the living room. "I have a plan that I think everyone will love." The energy in the room shifted. Sarah wasn't alone in this after all. "What do you have in mind?" she asked, eager to absorb the positivity. Eleanor began flipping through the folder, revealing colorful drawings and lists of potential events. A community carnival. We can have games, food, and even a dunk tank. It'll be fun and bring everyone together. Sarah felt a spark ignite within her. That could really work. Imagine the families coming together. They brainstormed late into the night, laughter filling the air, weaving together plans for the carnival. That weekend, Sarah and Mia committed to handing out flyers at the park. The sun shone brightly, bringing warmth to their spirits as they chatted with families passing by. Mia squealed in delight every time someone agreed to join the fun. Sarah felt her heart swell with hope at each nod of encouragement. But just as it felt like they were gaining momentum, a harsh voice cut through the excitement. "Are you seriously going to run a carnival?" It was Mark, a local business owner, bringing an air of skepticism with him. "What if no one comes? You'll only embarrass yourselves." Sarah's heart dropped, a mix of anger and fear bubbling within. But before she could respond, Eleanor jumped in. "That's just the kind of thinking we're trying to move past. We believe in our community." The exchange left Sarah shaken, doubt creeping in once again. Could they really do this? What would it take to turn their vision into a reality? Later that night, Sarah sat on the patio, staring at the stars. Mia's soft breathing echoed from her room, a reminder of why she fought so hard. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed. It was Eleanor, a photo attached. "Look! Someone just donated a huge amount for the carnival. We're getting there." Sarah's breath hitched, the warmth of possibility washing over her. Hope flickered back to life. But as she laid down to sleep that night, one thing gnawed at her mind. If they got the carnival off the ground, how would she handle the inevitable bump in the road? Would the community come together when it mattered most, or was it looking like another dream poised to slip away? The rising sun cast a new day in golden light, yet a shadow loomed over the asked questions. What would happen when the first hurdles appeared? And would she have the strength to face them? The morning broke bright and clear, bringing with it a sense of urgency. Sarah woke up with determination flickering in her chest. Today was the day they would gather more support for the carnival. She quickly brewed her coffee, a ritual that had become vital in the face of her growing workload, and reminded herself to breathe. After breakfast, she swept through the house, gathering supplies. Mia whizzed through the living room, still in her pajamas but buzzing with excitement. Are we going to see the park again? Can I bring my sparkly dress? Not today, sweetie, Sarah said, chuckling as she tucked a stray hair behind Mia's ear. Today's about gathering our community. Lots of people are counting on us. Mia nodded, wide-eyed. Can I help? Of course. You can be my assistant, my little partner in crime. Armed with colorful flyers and a well-rehearsed pitch, they headed outside. The crisp air filled their lungs as they made their way to the park. A wave of gratitude washed over Sarah as they walked. The bond they were forging felt more powerful than she'd anticipated, a shared mission pulling them closer together. As they approached the park, Sarah felt her nerves spark again. What if no one listened? What if they faced more skepticism? She pushed those thoughts aside, focusing on the smiles they would bring to unfamiliar faces. Hey, look, there's Mr. Johnson. Mia pointed eagerly to an older man sitting on a bench. With a deep breath, Sarah approached him. Her heart raced, and words tumbled out with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Hi, Mr. Johnson. We're planning a carnival to support the school. Would you like to help? Mr. Johnson's face lit up, and he chuckled. A carnival? Sounds like a hoot. What do you need? Sarah felt a glow of encouragement. We're looking for donations or even volunteers to help set up. One by one, responses rolled in. Mrs. Rodriguez offered to bake cupcakes, Grant from down the street promised to donate face paint, and even Mr. Clark, known for his stern demeanor, agreed to run the dunk tank. Each interaction chipped away at Sarah's doubts. Then, as they moved to another part of the park, Sarah spotted a familiar figure in the distance. It was Mark. Panic gripped her. What if he saw them and mocked their efforts again? But strangely, before she could retreat, Mia darted ahead, waving her little arms. Hi, Mr. Mark. We're planning a carnival. You should come. Mark turned, surprise flickering in his expression. For a moment, she thought she saw a glimmer of interest before his mask fell back in place. That sounds like a waste of time, Mia, he replied roughly. You'll see. Sarah felt her heart toughen. It's not a waste. We're trying to bring everyone together. Mark shrugged as if her words were insignificant, and Sarah felt anger bubbling within. But she stood tall. You don't know what this means to us. Mia tugged at Sarah's hand, her small fingers a comfort. Don't worry, Mommy. More people will come. That night, while Sarah tucked Mia into bed, she took a moment to breathe deeply. Despite the day's stress, seeing the community come together felt magical. The connection among everyone was undeniable, and even Mark's skepticism couldn't overshadow the small victories they'd achieved. As Sarah settled into her own bed, exhaustion seeped into her bones. She closed her eyes, but anticipation buzzed beneath the surface. They had momentum, but what would happen at the community meeting in just 2 days? Would they maintain this spirit, or would everything fall apart? The fear clawed at her mind. But through that dark space, a thought emerged. What if turning the carnival into a vibrant success was only the beginning? She drifted off to sleep with a flicker of hope and shreds of worry intermingling in her dreams. The next day would pull them into a new challenge, and Sarah knew she'd need every bit of courage she could muster. What awaited at the meeting could redefine everything, or send them spiraling into doubt once more. The sun rose with a golden hue, washing over Sarah's neighborhood like a warm embrace. Today was the day of the community meeting, and with every tick of the clock, her stomach churned with a mix of anticipation and dread. She let out a long sigh as she gazed at the chaotic kitchen, remnants of breakfast still lingering among the scattered flyers and her tattered notebook filled with plans. Mia bounced down the stairs, her charm as radiant as the sun streaming in through the window. "Mom! Are we going to make the carnival the bestest ever?" Her eyes sparkled with excitement, oblivious to the weight Sarah carried. "Absolutely, kiddo. But we need to have a great presentation at the meeting first." Sarah pulled Mia into a quick hug, feeling her daughter's warmth soothe away some of her anxiety. As they headed out, the community center loomed in the distance, a building that felt more imposing by the second. The usual chatter and hustle of neighbors filled the air, but today felt different. Today was crucial. They reached the door, and just as she gathered herself to push it open, she heard a voice behind her. "Sarah! Wait up!" It was Mrs. Rodriguez, a neighbor known for her kindness and baked goods. She rushed over, panting slightly. "I heard about the carnival. I want to help." Sarah felt a surge of relief wash over her, and she smiled. "That's fantastic. We need all the hands we can get." Mia squealed, "You can bake cupcakes." "Yes, I can. But only if you promise to help me decorate them," Mrs. Rodriguez replied, ruffling Mia's hair. Inside the center, the community hall buzzed with familiar faces. The makeshift stage was set, and a large banner reading Community Carnival Meeting hung overhead. Sarah's heart raced. She scanned the room, taking note of the murmurs, the curious glances, and the skeptical faces. She settled into her seat, next to Mark. Their eyes locked for a moment, and Sarah felt a flicker of uncertainty. His presence was like an echo of doubt. But she shook it off. She was here for more than just herself. This was for Mia, the school, and their community. As the meeting began, Sarah saw familiar faces sharing ideas, excitement slowly building. When her turn to speak arrived, she took a deep breath. Everything she'd planned spiraled in her head, but she focused on the hope behind it all. "Thank you all for coming. I know times are tough, but we're trying to create something wonderful for our kids, to bring our community together," she began, her voice steady. "The carnival is not just a fundraiser, it's a celebration of who we are and our resilience." More cheers and nods from the crowd encouraged her to continue. "Imagine games, laughter, food, and love. Families can come together, reconnect, and build memories. All we need is your support to make this dream a reality." A smattering of applause encouraged her. Eyes sparkled with curiosity, and the air shifted. It was palpable. Even Mark seemed to be listening, albeit with his usual stoicism. Then, just as Sarah felt the energy lifting, a voice pierced through the buzz. "And what if it fails? You think we can just throw a carnival and that's enough? What's the real plan?" It was Roger, a voice often underestimated in meetings yet grounded in reason. An uneasy silence settled over the room. Sarah felt raw nerves flare. She had anticipated skepticism, however, the louder part of her wanted her passion to drown it out. "We will build this together. I believe our community deserves something to look forward to." The conviction in her voice surprised herself, but it rallied the crowd. She could see people starting to nod, the shift in tone palpable. Mia squeezed her hand, offering a small, encouraging smile just as her mother felt the tide turning. But before Sarah could bask in that newfound energy, she caught Mark's eyes again. There was something more behind them now, something almost human. As the meeting progressed, more people stood up to share ideas, donations began to roll in, and a sense of momentum grew. Sarah felt the room buzzing with possibilities, almost electric. But in that whirlwind of hope, unease still lingered. What if it wasn't enough? What if today was just the beginning of something larger and scarier than she ever expected? The meeting wrapped up in applause, but as Sarah stepped outside, her heart pounded with an unsung question. How could one small setback tear them down? And what would it mean for the carnival if Mark refused to open his heart? She took in a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill her lungs, readying herself for whatever lay ahead. Change was coming, but was she really prepared for it? As she looked into the distance, she realized that this fight was only just beginning. The day of the carnival had finally arrived, and Sarah stood in the middle of the park, her heart racing with anticipation. The sun blazed down, the bright blue sky offering a perfect backdrop to the vibrant decorations that flapped gently in the breeze. Colorful banners fluttered, laughter echoed, and the smell of freshly baked goods wafted through the air like promises fulfilled. Mia dashed around, her sparkly dress twirling as she ushered friends to the games, her laughter a sweet melody. Sarah felt pride swell in her chest, but alongside it was an undercurrent of anxiety. Would they meet their fundraising goals? Would the community really come together as they hoped? Each person who arrived added to the exhilaration, and Sarah accepted every donation with a radiant smile. She marveled at the support pouring in from the very neighbors who once doubted her, Mrs. Rodriguez with her famous cupcakes, the Johnsons with their homemade lemonade, and even Mark, who surprisingly set up the dunk tank with an air of newfound camaraderie. "Hey, Sarah!" Mark called over, a broad grin on his face as he helped set up the game area. He came over, arms crossed, but his demeanor was warm. "I might not believe in grand gestures, but this is something special. You're actually helping." Sarah beamed, disbelief mixing with joy. "Guess I'm not the old grouch anymore," he chuckled, shaking his head. "Maybe this carnival really will unite us." Tears prickled Sarah's eyes at the realization that the bond they were forming could change everything, not just for themselves, but for the entire town. As the hours passed, and the laughter of children echoed, Sarah found herself wading through moments of pure joy. She glanced at Mia performing in the talent show, beaming as she shared her artwork with the crowd. For that brief moment, all doubts washed away. But just as the festival reached its peak, a thunderstorm of a different kind loomed, an unexpected announcement from the town council. A few parents, still skeptical, had raised concerns about the safety protocols for the carnival, fearing chaos rather than unity. The news hit Sarah like a cold wave. Panic surged through her. What would they do now? Would all their hard work go to waste? But then she remembered Eleanor's words from their last conversation, "You fight for what you believe in." Taking a deep breath, Sarah steeled herself. She had fought for Mia, fought for the community. She couldn't let this storm douse their dreams. The announcement went out to the crowd, and panic simmered. But Sarah climbed onto the makeshift stage, heart pounding. "Everyone, I know there are concerns, but we can work together to make this better. We've already proven that we can do incredible things when we unite." People started murmuring, glancing at each other. "This carnival isn't just an event. It's a sign of resilience." Sarah continued, feeling the fire of the moment ignite within her. "Sure, we can adjust some things and make sure everyone stays safe. But we cannot allow fear to steal this joy from our kids." Those words resonated. Familiar faces began nodding. Then, one by one, parents started clapping, a ripple effect building. Mia joined Sarah on stage, eyes shining. "Please, don't stop the fun. We all worked hard, and we can make it better together." As the crowd erupted in cheers, Sarah felt the weight of fear and doubt lift. "Together," she echoed, her voice powerful against the doubts of the day. The carnival unfolded into a day of joy, uniting parents, children, even skeptics turned supporters. They revised the safety measures together, transforming the day into a celebration of community strength, a collective heart beating for a brighter future. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Sarah stood back, watching the scene unfold. Families danced, laughter echoed through the park, and she caught sight of Mia wrapped up in the happiness of shared dreams. In that moment, clarity washed over Sarah. No matter the challenges ahead, they could navigate them together, a community built on trust and resilience. Later, as they gathered for closing speeches, Sarah found herself at the forefront, gazing at the faces illuminated by golden light. "This is just the beginning, folks," she said, her heart swelling. "Today shows what we can achieve when we fight for each other. Let us carry this into tomorrow." Cheers erupted once more, washing over her like a warm wave. And this time, doubt melted away like the last rays of sunlight. They had made it, not just through a carnival, but toward a dream of unity and hope. As the colorful lights twinkled in the twilight, Sarah turned to Mia, heart full. "We did this, sweet girl. Can you believe it?" "Yes, Mommy. I knew it would be amazing." The future spread before her, filled with possibilities. There might be storms ahead, but now, she knew they were stronger together. And as they headed home, Sarah felt the warmth of joy enveloping her. This was it. This was their chance for a new beginning, and she was ready to embrace it all. Now, as you've journeyed through Sarah's inspiring story, don't wait any longer to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that can uplift and inspire you. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and help more people discover these incredible transformations. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. We want to hear your thoughts and celebrate together. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who you believe need to see this powerful transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this with others.